I am patient Sombang, who spends the most time online in Germany. The exponential increase in the number of internet users from 3.9 billion in 2018 to 5.9 billion in 2023 is a cause for alarm. The rate of internet adoption and expansion in current times serves as a measure of the standard of living. The virtual world is a space for business expansion, communication, and increased learning. Thus, it is of interest to understand the factors that affect the number of minutes people spend online. In previous time, researchers have attributed the amount of time people spend online to gender, as Shaw explained that men were more acquainted to devices. This works with Buchala, but contradicts Twinge's report of 2020 that states that women in Britain spend more time online based on the websites they visit. This birthed the research questions: what are the factors that influence the number of minutes people spend online in Germany? In search of associations, is there an association between a person's gender, their marital status, and their mother's highest educational attainment with the amount of minutes they spend online? The research considered a population of 2,358 Germans, which was obtained from the European Social Survey, which is conducted across Europe every 2 years. These participants were selected from a door-to-door random sampling by observation. The measures focused on four variables, which are marital status, mother's highest educational attainment, and gender. Marital status was collapsed into four categories: married, divorced, single, and widowed. Mother's highest educational attainment was collapsed into basic, secondary, vocational, and graduate school. Amount of time spent online in minutes was recorded into four variables, which are low, medium, high, and extreme. The amount of time spent online was primordially quantitative but was recorded into categorical to better suit the sample and understanding. The gender considered was the male and female. The Pearson chi-square test was used because this data was categorical to get the response for marital status. What is your legal marital status? For the mother's educational attainment, what is your mother's highest educational completion? What is your gender? And how much time on average do you spend online in a day? For hypothesis testing, a Pearson's chi-square test was used because both variables were categorical. It checked for association between time spent online and gender, mother's educational attainment and time spent online, and an association between marital status and time spent online. The null hypothesis posed that variables are independent, while the alternate hypothesis posed that variables were dependent. In analysis of the bivariate graphs, it proves that a mean time spent by males online of 210 is far greater than the mean time spent online by females. For the mother's educational attainment, graduate parents have their children spend more time online with a mean of 245.75, which is far greater than that of the basic, the secondary, and the vocationally attained parents. For the marital status, it proved that single people spend most time online with a mean of 260.08 and a standard deviation of 195.01. This is far greater than the divorced, the married, and the widowed population. When examining the association between the time spent online and gender, a Pearson's chi-square test revealed that males and females spend proportionally different times online with a p-value of 0.0417. For the parents' educational attainment, it also demonstrated that there is a difference in the amount of time different children spend online based on their parents' educational attainment with a p-value of 0.02117. After post-hoc pairwise test, a p-value range of less than 2.2 exponential 16 was gotten, which do not permit clear distinction of levels. In the marital status level, with the chi-square test, a p-value of 2.98 exponential 10 was obtained, and a post-hoc test as well of 2 gave a value of 2.2 exponential 16, which do not permit a clear distinction between the levels that cause a rejection of the null hypothesis. The research demonstrated that males spent more time online compared to females. This may have been because more males participated in the research. This is consistent with Shaw that explained that males spend more time online because they have a better mastery of gadgets. This is also in accordance with Bujala, who explains that males in Poland spend more time online compared to females. The research demonstrated that people with parents that have attained a graduate degree spend more time online. This may have been because with the higher education these parents have attained, they would serve to encourage their children to explore platforms like YouTube for online learning. Finally, this research portrayed that single people spend more time online compared to married groups. This may be the ideal because single people are not occupied with married. Research failed to establish the marital status that caused the failure of the post hoc test. The study may have been biased because mainly males and singles participated in the research. Thus, further verification should be carried out to sort out the subsets of these. A population of 2,358 is not so representative of the German population of 80 million persons. Further research should seek to establish associations between amount of time spent online with people's occupation, age groups, and even generational differences. This research will enable policymakers to restructure their focus on internet expansion to groups that are hardly online and also direct online adverts for hospitals, businesses, and governments. In conclusion, this study of the German population confirmed that males, single people, and children of parents that have a graduate degree spend most time online. Parents, businesses, and policymakers should consider these associations because they are not uniform across groups. Thank you.